අද්විතීය 200 Mbps ස්පීඩ් එකකින් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ වේගවත්ම සහ පුළුල්තම හෝම් බ්‍රෝඩ්බෑන්ඩ් සම්බන්ධතාවය වන SLT මොබිටෙල් දේශීය ෆයිබර් බලවේගය ඔබත් අදම අත්විඳින්න.
හරිම සුදුයි.
Tonight on First at 9 this Wednesday, the 23rd of August 2023. Climate clemency. President calls for more financing to fund climate change initiatives.
You can't do anything without finance.
Says that the Climate Change University has to be an international platform.
Climate Change University, let's make it the international platform for climate change research.
Turtle massacre. Turtle corpses inundate beaches in Colombo and Gampaha district, suggesting sinister deep-sea activity. Drought woes. Over 50,000 acres of paddy and over 20,000 farmers affected as Sri Lanka's drought situation worsens.
ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දිනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක. Rhino Cement Roofing Sheets. හොඳම මෙලට කල් පවතින වහරයක්.
This is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and a warm welcome to you from AdaDerana's English News First at 9. This is Jonathan Benedict. Let's take a look at our top story this evening. Fresh from his visit to Singapore, President Ranil Wickremesinghe highlighted the importance of the critical role which finance plays in supporting climate initiatives today. During the progress review meeting on climate change initiatives, the President said that even though numerous climate change initiatives are proposed, limited attention has been allocated to the vital matter of financing. The President further stated that the Climate Change University, which is expected to be established in Sri Lanka, has to be an international platform for climate change research. A progress review meeting on climate change initiatives underscoring Sri Lanka's commitment to climate action and international collaboration was held at the Presidential Secretariat this morning under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
You can't do anything without financing. We have to be very strong locally and internationally both on what to do. And let's make that one of our strengths. Everyone will have a lot of things to do on how to bring climate change around, but very few people are going to come up with where the money is going to be made available. So let Sri Lanka specialize international economics on this whole global climate financing, the struggle that's going on, which is related to debt financing. Since we're already in it, debt and this both will have to come together. I think that's one the area that we have to work on. So if you have the laws, we have this. Then other one is the UN Secretary General is pressing for accelerated agenda. That will also have to come under this. How are we going to work? Partly with the international, partly with financing, partly with what we are going to do. Then you have your nature positive green growth schemes. With that, we should have a large awareness campaign, which we should start now itself, going into schools and all other areas, environment, climate change, all we put together and going there immediately. On the Climate Change University, let's make it the international platform for climate change research. So we not only what we do, but everyone gets linked there. So this has to be the center, and then let's get the final report on the International Climate Change University done. Then you have the innovative management. But let's focus this in the next 2 weeks, give one on the structure of the center plus its activities, which can be circulated around the relevant ministries and agencies. And finally, there will be a national consultative committee that every agency involved in it, public or private, will be in this committee. So it may have about 100 or 150 members, but that should be the one that will be consulted at least once in 6 months as to the progress that's being made. So if you can have a structure like that, that can be the outcome. Especially Foreign Ministry that work out with Environment Ministry on the international aspect. But I think the three of you will have to give us one on the financing, international financing one. We can tie it up to our Institute of Economics and Trade. So Sri Lanka becomes a center, one center on international global financing and debt. What are the outcomes that will emanate from the UN General Assembly? Then prepare ourselves for your Asia Pacific Ministers meeting, and from there how do we go on to COP28 and what's the role that we are going to play? Now that's what you all have to tell us.
The Agriculture and Agrarian Insurance Board stated that approximately 51,055 acres of paddy land have been destroyed due to the ongoing drought, affecting 45,678 farmers. That being said, however, the Polonnaruwa district that has been heavily affected by the drought so far received some much welcomed heavy rainfall last evening after 4 months. The Department of Meteorology said that higher levels of rainfall can be expected during the second interim monsoonal period from October to November, which will hopefully bring an end to this devastating drought.
Drought conditions prevailing across the island continue to affect the country's water resources, cultivation and livelihoods of people. The Agriculture and Agrarian Insurance Board confirmed that 51,055 acres of paddy lands have been destroyed due to the ongoing drought, affecting approximately 45,678 farmers. 394 farmers cultivating other crops too have been affected by the inclement weather. The highest damage has occurred in the Kurunegala district, while the Udawalawe area of Ratnapura district has been the second most affected. On the 8th of August, steps were taken by the authorities to release water from the Samanalawe reservoir to the Udawalawe reservoir to ensure that farmers receive water for their cultivation. However, water levels of the Udawalawe reservoir that released water for agricultural lands have now reduced to 10,000 acre-feet. Taking this situation into account, the Sri Lanka Mahaweli Authority has decided to halt the release of water from the Udawalawe reservoir to farmlands as of yesterday. The dried-up reservoir was inspected today by officials of the Sri Lanka Mahaweli Authority, Wildlife Department and a group of farmers. During this difficult period, farmers of the Udawalawe area have urged the government to conduct a proper survey to assess the damage caused to their farmlands due to the drought. Meanwhile, in the Central Hills, water levels of Castlereagh and Mausa-Kala reservoirs have dropped further due to the ongoing drought. However, in some much-needed good news, Polonnaruwa district that was affected by the drought received heavy rainfall last evening after almost 4 months of drought.
බස්නාහිර සබරගමු ගාල්ල මාතර වගේ පළාත්වල අතනින් පතර වැස්සත්යන් නිර්මාණය වෙනවා. කෙසේ නමුත් අපේ විශ්ලේෂණවල කියනවා සැලකිය යුතු වර්ෂාපතනයක් අපිට අපේක්ෂා කරන්න හැකියාව තියෙන්නේ දෙවන අන්තර් මෝසම් කාල පරිච්ඡේදයේ ලැබෙන විට ඒක බොහෝ විට ඇති වෙන්නේ ඔක්තෝබර් නොවැම්බර් කාල පරිච්ඡේදයේ තුලදී.
Turtle corpses have washed ashore last night and earlier this morning at several beaches in the Colombo and Gampaha districts. Environment experts suspect a number of possibilities, including a leak from a container of the sunken Express Pearl vessel. Further, deep-sea explosions as a result of human activity are also suspected to be a contributing factor to these turtle deaths. Fishing with the use of the surrounding net, or lila, has also been shortlisted as a reason for these turtle deaths. What is most worrying, however, is that the number of dead turtles washed up ashore is hardly an indicator of a far sinister number still afloat on the high seas. Yesterday, a rare incident was reported as the bodies of 11 corpses of turtles washed ashore the beaches of Golface, Velavatta and Dahivala. Excessive bleeding and swollen eyes were observed in the dead turtles. Last night, 7 more turtle corpses washed ashore from the beaches of Pamunugama, Kapungoda and Sarukkuwa in the Gampaha district. According to the Wildlife Security Officer of Muthurajavala, this is the first time an incident of this nature has occurred.
වැඩුණු සතුන් මේ අය මේ විදිය හානියට පත් වෙන්නේ මෙයාලගේ මොළයට දරන්න බැරි කම්පනයක් වගේ දෙයක් දැනුනොත් තමයි කියන එකයි මගේ අදහස.
Meanwhile, today a turtle corpse with a cracked scute, commonly known as the shell, washed ashore the Mount Lavinia beach.
කට්ට පුපුරන්න පුළුවන් අවස්ථා කීපයක් තියෙන එකක් තමයි දින කීපයක් ගියාට පස්සේ සිමිල පුපුරන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඩයිනමයිට් ගහපු වගේ අවස්ථාවක දුනත් කට්ටකට හානි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. උත්මන් පීඩන වෙනසක් ඇති වෙච්ච අවස්ථාවක ලංග්ස් වලට හානි වෙනවා. සාමාන්‍ය තත්ත්වයක් විදිහට අපි විග්‍රහ කරගන්නේ නැහැ. අවශ්‍ය හැකි සියලුම පරීක්ෂණ කරන්න අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
After producing the corpses to the Mount Lavinia magistrate, the court ordered it to be handed over to the government veterinary clinic in Attidia. Environmental experts are of the view that these unusual deaths may have been caused due to an explosion caused as a result of human activity in deep sea.
සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ කැස්පෑ විශේෂය කිලෝමීටර් 15ක් පමණ ගැඹුරු මුහුදේ ජීවත් වෙන විශේෂයක්. 15ක් 20ක් ගොඩබිමට ගසාගෙන එන විට ඒ වගේ 10 ගුණයකට ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයක් මහ මුහුදේ පාවෙමින් තියෙනවා. ඒ අනුව පෙනී යනවා 100කට වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් මිය ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා කියන කාරණේ. ලයිලා දීවර කර්මාන්තය හෝ එහෙම නැත්නම් අනවසර ඩයිනමයිට් යෙදීමක් හෝ සිද්ධ වුණාද කියන සැකය අපිට ඇති වෙනවා. වෙනත් නාවික අභ්‍යාසයක් හෝ වෙනත් දෙයක් මුහුදේ සිද්ධ වුණාද කියන කාරණය පිළිබඳව අපේ සැකය යොමු වෙනවා. ප්‍රස්පර්ල් නැවේ තියෙන යම්කිසි බහලුමක් කාන්දුවක් අලුතෙන් ආරම්භ වුණාද කියන සැකයක් අපිට ඇති වෙනවා.
In a bid to force the issue on several demands, a 24-hour token strike will be launched tomorrow by the Joint Council for Professions of Supplementary Medicines. The strike is to address several areas including recruitment, promotions and, ironically, unfair disciplinary issues. However, addressing a media briefing today, the president of the Sri Lanka Association of Government Medical Laboratory Technologists, Ravi Kumudesh, emphasised that the strike will not interrupt maternity, children and cancer hospitals.
The Joint Council for Professions of Supplementary Medicine has decided to launch a 24-hour token strike from 8 am tomorrow in all government hospitals across the island. The strike is aimed at 7 demands, including the delaying of the revision of the recruitment procedure and the issuance of the circular related to grade promotion issues, prevention of new recruitments and the suppression of trade unions by implementing unfair disciplinary measures. Further, trade unions of radiotechnologists, medical laboratory scientists, pharmacists, physiotherapists and occupational therapists will join the one-day strike tomorrow. Meanwhile, commenting on the token strike, the president of the Sri Lanka Association of Government Medical Laboratory Technologists, Ravi Kumudesh, added that strikes will not be launched in maternity and children hospitals.
හෙට උදෑසන 8ට අපි ආරම්භ කරන වර්ජන ක්‍රියාමාර්ගයට පරිපූර්ණක වෛද්‍ය සේවාවට අදාළ සියලු වෘත්තිකයෝ සහභාගී වෙනවා. මාතෘ රෝහල් වල, ළමා රෝහල් වල, ඒ වගේම පිළිකා රෝහල් වල, වකුගඩු රෝහල් වල කිසිදු වර්ජන ක්‍රියාමාර්ගයක් දියත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Meanwhile, chairman of the Government Radiological Technologists Association, Chanaka Dharmavikrama, said that voluntary services will be available despite the launch of the 24-hour strike tomorrow.
අපි ස්වේච්ඡා සේවාවන් හෙට දවසේ ඉෂ්ට කරනවා. ජීවිත ආරක්ෂා සේවා අපි අපේ නිලධාරීන් විසින් ස්වේච්ඡාවෙන් ඉටු කරනවා. යම් තැනක හෝ බලපෑමක් සිදු කරොත් මේ ස්වේච්ඡා සේවාවන්ට අපි එම සේවාවන් ඉවත් කර ගන්නවා.
In other news, Professor Sampath Amaratunga, chairman of the University Grants Commission, says that by the end of this year, there will be a shortage of about 50% of the current number of subject lecturers and professors in the Sri Lanka university system. During an inquiry regarding the progress of the University of Sri Jayawardenepura before the Committee on Public Enterprise, the chairman further stated that all the 5 top universities in Sri Lanka have fallen behind in world rankings.
විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ශිෂ්‍යයෝ සහ ආචාර්යවරු අනුපාතයකට තමයි බදවා ගැනීම කටයුතු සිදු කරන්නේ. මේ සෑම විෂය ධාරාවකටම අනුපාතයක් තියෙනවා. මේ අනුව අපි සලකා බැලුවට පස්සේ දෙසැම්බර් මාසේ 31 වෙනකොට විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ආචාර්යවරු ඉන්න ඕනේ. මේ අනුපාතයට අනුව ගත්තායින් පස්සේ 12992ක්. මේ වන විට සේවයේ නියුක්ත වෙන්නේ 6548ක්. එතකොට 8393කට අවසරය දීලා තියෙනවා. නමුත් මේ පවත්නා ආර්ථික අර්බුදකාරී තත්ත්වයේ යටතේ බදවා ගැනීම සෑහෙන දුරට අවම කරලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට මේ අවුරුද්දේ අන්තිම වෙද්දී 49.6% ප්‍රමාණයක් අපට ආචාර්යවරුන්ගේ පුරප්පාඩු ඇති වෙනවා. හැබැයි කවදාවත් 100%ක්ම විශ්වවිද්‍යාල පද්ධතියේ පුරප්පාඩු පුරවල නැහැ. අඩුම තරමින් 30%ක්වත් පුරප්පාඩු තිබිලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා තව 1000ක්වත් අඩුම තරමින් මේ මොහොතේ බඳවා ගැනීම අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. මේ තියෙන බුද්ධි ගලණයත් එක්ක මේ යන්නේ බොහෝ වෙලාවට විශාල ජවයක් තියෙන ආචාර්ය උපාධිය තියෙන තරුණ කණ්ඩායමක් තමයි මේ යන්නේ. මේ අද නිකුත් වුණ වෙබෝමෙට්‍රික්ස් රෑන්කින් වල අපේ පළවෙනි විශ්වවිද්‍යාල පහම පසට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. මීට මාස 6කට කලින් කොළඹ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ හිටියේ 1470. අද වෙනකොට 1488ට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. පෙරදිනී විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ 1867 ඉඳලා 1979ට පසු බහැලා තියෙනවා. ජයවර්ධනපුර විශ්වවිද්‍යාලය 1927 හිටියේ. අද 2044ට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. රුහුණ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලය 2320 ඉඳලා 2535ට අද ආවා. එතකොට මොරටු විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ 2204 ඉඳලා 2554ට ආවා.
ඊයේ කොළඹ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ හවස සාකච්ඡාවක් තිබුණා. ඒකෙදි කිව්වා මෙඩිකල් ෆැකල්ටියට 15 දෙනෙක් ගන්නවලු ෆොර් ඉන්ෂුරන්ස්ලා. ඒකෙන්ලු මෙඩිකල් ෆැකල්ටි ඔය අවශ්‍ය කරන සමහර වියහියදම් පියව ගන්න. ඒක මං හිතන්නේ අපි තීරණාත්මකව හොයලා බලන්න ඕන එකක්. උගන්නලාම විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ගොඩ දාන්න බෑ කියන එකයි මගේ අදහස. අපේ විශ්වවිද්‍යාල අඩු ගානේ 50%ක්වත් පරිශන විශ්වවිද්‍යාල බවට පත් වුණොත් විතරයි මේ
මෑලි මෑලි ගතිය නැති වෙලා යන්නේ. දැන් අපි අවුරුදු 5කට ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වා පෙරදින විශ්වවිද්‍යාල පරිශ්‍රණ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයක් කරමු කියලා. මේ මග පෙන්වීම මේක මේ අපේ පරම්පරාවේ වගකීමක්.
The Ministry of Environment has issued an extraordinary gazette confirming that the manufacture and sale of 9 single-use plastic products is to be banned in Sri Lanka with effect from the 1st of October this year. The manufacture and sale of single-use plastic straws, stirrers, cups, plates, knives, forks and spoons, as well as plastic string hopper trays and garlands will be prohibited henceforth. In February, Sri Lanka's Cabinet of Ministers approved a proposal to ban 7 single-use plastic items from June of this year. The decision was taken following recommendations from a committee appointed by the Cabinet in August of 2021. Subsequently, the decision was taken to ban several plastic products from production, import, sale and use from June 1st of 2023. However, it was delayed due to unknown circumstances. A 47-year-old had reportedly been gunned down at a hotel in the Haputala area last evening. 5 individuals are reported to have opened fire at the deceased and 1 other before fleeing in the latest episode of gun violence in the country. In other news, several students were reportedly injured when a section of a jetty collapsed at the Trincomalee Navy camp yesterday. The Navy has launched an inquiry into the matter. With that, let's take a more detailed look at news in brief from around the island. One person was reported gunned down while another was reported injured last evening at a hotel in the Haputala area. A group of 5 people had reportedly barged into a hotel and opened fire at 2 individuals and fled the scene. The deceased was identified as a 47-year-old resident of Matara, and the hotel owner who was injured had been rushed to the base hospital in Diatalava for medical attention. Further investigations are underway to unveil the motive behind the shooting. Meanwhile, in Trincomalee last evening, at least 14 students were reportedly injured after a section of a jetty collapsed at the Trincomalee Navy camp. 3 students are currently receiving treatment at the Trincomalee General Hospital, while several others are being treated within the camp. The Sri Lankan Navy has launched an investigation into the matter. In related news, the Sri Lankan Navy, during separate operations conducted in the Puttalam, Palavia, Chilau and Negombo areas, seized 2,447 kilos of smuggled kendu leaves and apprehended 1 suspect and 1 lorry in connection to illegal activity. Further, 46 sacks of kendu leaves weighing 1,460 kilos were recovered during a combined search operation by the Sri Lanka Coast Guard and Puttalam Special Task Force in Chilau last night. Moreover, 650 kilos of kendu leaves were also recovered from Negombo last night, while approximately 337 kilos of kendu leaves in 10 packages were confiscated in the Puttalam area. Business news after a short break. Stay tuned.
ගොඩමඩ පෙරලි කරන බලපුළුවන් කාරයා මහින්ද්‍රා යුවෝ ටීමෝ වෙතින්. වැඩම ගොඩයි ගොඩම තමයි. ස්වරාජ් ට්‍රැක්ටර් ටීමෝ වෙතින්.
Welcome back. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka estimates that land value in the Colombo district has inflated by 15% in the first half of 2023 from a year earlier, according to an index compiled by the body. Residential land values increased 17.2% and commercial land increased by 15.1%, while industrial land increased by 13.5%, according to the Land Values Index. On a semi-annual basis, the index had increased by 4.9%. The central bank further confirmed that the highest contribution to this increase was from residential land value index, followed by commercial and industrial land value indices. The land value index covers 13 divisional secretarial divisions in the Colombo district dating back to 2017. The 3 sub-indicators for residential, commercial and land and industrial lands are computed separately for each divisional secretariat using the average per perch bare land price in the area. The land value index is the simple average of these 3 sub-indicators. In energy news, Windforce, in collaboration with the Lakdanavi and the Blue Circle energy conglomerates, is poised to undertake Sri Lanka's largest private sector renewable energy project. The proposed project boasts a 100-megawatt solar power plant with a transmission facility to be set up in Siambaladuwa in the Monragala district with a total investment of $152 million. The project is scheduled for completion before the end of 2025 and expects to add approximately 200 gigawatt hours to the national grid. The project, considered to be the largest renewable project, was awarded to the private sector through a competitive bidding process last month. The financial threshold for the project is expected to be completed by October 2023, and Windforce, in collaboration with Lakdanavi and Blue Circle, expect to complete the project before the end of 2025. At a press briefing, the managing director of Windforce, Manjula Pereira, said that the project is expected to create jobs for over 500 individuals.
Sri Lanka has set a target of achieving 70% renewables by 2030, and presently we are at around 50%, that is including large hydros, small wind, then the private sector NCRA projects put together. On that master plan, on the 23-26, the first project being awarded is the Sembalandu 100 megawatt project, which is a solar project together with transmission facility, and this will be the largest renewable energy the project to be awarded to a private sector. The project was awarded through a competitive bidding process. Installed capacity of this plant will be 100 megawatt AC and 125 megawatts DC. So there will be solar panels installed for 125 megawatts to generate 100 megawatts of AC power. And we expect annual energy generation of about over 200 gigawatt hours to be added to the national grid every year. And the total estimated project cost is about 152 million US dollars. And the project has to be completed within 24 months from the financial closure. So technically by 13th of January 2026. So the employment opportunities, this project is a large scale project. During the construction period, we will be needing at least about 500 people in the construction site for the duration of the 2 years.
There are a lot of funds all over the world looking for investing in renewable energy. And Sri Lanka, although we had difficult times, in future when it comes to fall into the normal situations, these funds will be available. Big players coming to country would help to open up and say, give the confidence for the DFIs who are these foreign funding agencies. The funds are available for renewable energy if we structure our system well, like go on a competitive bidding like what CEP did on this project, and open up the transmission system also. We hope this will help the foreign investors to come.
This project is the first and the largest solar project of that size in Sri Lanka. The financial crisis that the country has been through, which is also an opportunity to reset, to go more towards renewable energy in the future and to power Sri Lanka. And it has been highlighted by Mr. Manjula that public policy is going towards that. That's the reason why we are here also, to go for a more renewable, more green and sustainable future.
Sri Lanka's agri-solution provider Agstar says that it hopes to expand the fertilizer market by 200,000 to 300,000 metric tons in the coming year, with the government further relaxing the fertilizer subsidy coupled with the reduction in global prices for fertilizer. More on this and other news as we delve into the corporate world with this package. Agstar, an agri-solutions provider of Sri Lanka, said that it hopes that the fertilizer market of the country will eventually expand to 500,000 metric tons in the 2023-2024 financial year. Chairman of Agstar, Indika Gunawardena, said that the firm is optimistic of the removal of the government fertilizer subsidy from the earlier quota system to an open market system, along with global fertilizer prices reducing, which will see increased usage by local farmers, thereby stimulating market growth. Gunawardena said that the government cash grants to farmers with less than 2 hectares of cultivatable land will boost fertilizer sales and enable the company to capture a majority market share. Meanwhile, AP Veerasekara, the managing director of Agstar, said that the lifting of the glyphosate import restriction will contribute around 7 billion rupees to the agrochemical market, further encouraging the seed sector that was abandoned by farmers due to lack of fertilizer. AMW Capital Leasing and Finance plc confirmed the appointment of Dmitry Bogotyrev as a non-independent, non-executive director with effect from 21st August 2023. The firm said that his appointment had been approved by the Department of Supervision of Non-Bank Financial Institutions on the 21st of August 2022. In other news, the chairman of Valuable Finance plc, Anuradha Pereira, retired from his position after completing a term of 9 years of service. Pereira was also a non-executive director of the company. In stocks news, Sri Lanka shares closed higher today, aided by gains in consumer staples and financial stocks. The Colombo Stock Exchange all-share price index settled up 0.94% at 11,385.47 points, while S&P SL 20 closed up 1.4% at 3,249.17 points. Distillery Company of Sri Lanka PLC and LOLC Holdings PLC were the top gainers on the all-share index, rising 8.3% and 3.8% respectively. Trading volume on the all-share index rose to 102 million shares from 81 million shares in the previous session. Equity market turnover rose to 2.97 billion rupees from 2.93 billion rupees in the previous session. The diversified financial sector was the top contributor to market turnover today, while the food, beverage and tobacco sector were the second highest contributor. Foreign investors were net sellers, offloading stocks worth 177.1 million rupees, while domestic investors were net buyers, purchasing shares worth 2.91 billion rupees. With that, let's take a look at how the rupee traded against other major currencies around the world. More news after this short break. Stay tuned. That's all the news I have for you this evening. This is Jonathan Benedict wishing you a blessed Thursday ahead with a reminder to stay hydrated and safe. Good night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit AdaDerana.lk.